Hi, I'm Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. If you wake up in the morning and you sound like that, do you feel comfortable being who you are? That's Walter Brennan. Give or take a tone and a note or two.
Are you happy? You're having a good time? I hope that you...
If you woke up with Mr. Rogers' voice, where would you be? A famous person? We're going to talk about famous voices and your voice. Are you happy with your voice?
Is it everything you like it to be? Would you want to trade it in? Do you think it's taxing on you?
If you had Woody Allen's voice, where would you be? I don't want to say it right now, but many of us would have problems because Woody Allen is a very uncertain guy, and he works very well on the stage, in the movies.
But if you say, I don't know if your insurance really covers, I don't know if it covers, if it doesn't cover.
And what if you had Andy Rooney's voice?
I don't know about you, and answered the phone like that. You woke up like, if you were Andy Rooney's voice in the morning, I don't know about you.
What would you do? Would you be happy? What if you had Dr. Ruth's voice? Let me tell you something. Knock, knock. Would you be in deep doo-doo? I don't know. It depends on where you are, who you are, and how much your voice is worth to you. How much is your voice worth to you? When you answer the phone and you speak with, this is James Bond, 007, does that get you heard, liked, and listened to? Does darling, darling, darling Ronald Colman, all these years I wanted to hold you in my arms and tell you how much I love you. Does that make your day? It makes a lot of people's days. The women in this country, they go gaga over the English accent. This is the BBC Home Service. They love to listen to English voices. Why?
Why don't they like to listen to New York voices? Are you coming home for dinner, Harry? What are you going to do, Harry?
Why don't we have voices like those famous people? Give or take a notch or two, a tone or two, and have a voice that really characterizes us. Do we have that in our voices? The ordinary folk, the people who work the phones, who work in the factories, the people who are students, who are truck drivers, not only lawyers and doctors. If you listen to a lawyer sometime, yeah, I think that's right, we can take care of that. It sounds like the mafioso. If you listen to the doctor and the bedside manner, well, of course, you know, he could put you to sleep if you're not awake. You're not all there.
I don't know about you.
I love Andy Rooney, but 3 minutes, Andy, is enough. Mr. Rogers,
Is your mother home? Are you having a good time? I'm very glad.
He does that number for years and years. Very good for kids. Let's talk about famous voices and your voice. Now, when you wake up in the morning, do you have the blahs? Do you sound like you're not ready to face life? Most people have the blahs in the morning. Johnny Carson calls it the grumpies. Johnny's been there, he knows, and so have you and so have I. We wake up in the morning and we're half dead. I don't mean half awake, I mean half dead.
I don't know about you.
Andy Rooney would say it that way.
Mr. Rogers, when you get the grumpies, you hear that voice right up there, goes right up your back, like a nail on a blackboard.
Then you have the mayor, the former mayor in New York, Koch. Now, his voice,
I don't know, you're talking like that.
Is that the voice that goes with the territory? Do New Yorkers have to have that nasal twang in there?
Does the Midwest have to say back all the time? I'm going back to Chicago.
What's wrong with those people? Why can't they be more like 007, James Bond? Why can't they be more like Ronald Colman? Darling, darling, darling. Why can't you have a voice that really turns others on? Now, you've heard yourself on tape. I know you have. I call that the sound revolution. When you hear yourself on tape,
You say, it can't be me. There's something wrong with the tape machine. Knock, knock. There's something wrong with the tape machine.
but what's wrong with the tape machine? There's nothing wrong with the tape machine. Do you know what's wrong? It's something wrong with your voice. And you're saying,
I was born that way. That's the way I was born. I can't have a famous voice. I can't have a good voice. I can't have a voice like 007. That's the way I am. Harry.
now, if you believe that, I say if you believe it,
Then you're going to stay with that infamous voice. It's not going to be a famous voice. It's going to be a kind of infamous voice. It's like voices that are tuned out, turned down. People don't want to listen to you.
you've noticed people who look at their watch when they hear you talking. They have places to go and people to meet. Why? If you had a voice that turned people on, they wouldn't want to go anywhere. They'd be late for their appointments. But when you wake up in the morning, do you have that voice that says, I'm here, and I think you'd like to listen to me. All these years I wanted to know you, I have to tell you how much I love you. Charles Boyer. Where did those voices come from? Hey, baby, who loves you? Who loves you? Telly Savalas. Hey, baby, who loves you? Yeah, yeah. Right up here in the mask. Now, is that how you get a good voice? You talk up in the mask? What is the mask? That's what you're saying. Let's talk about voices and how they get to be the way they are and how you can do it for yourself. Because if you wake up in the morning and you're talking like that, do you want to talk like that on the phone? Do you want to talk like that on the phone? Do you want to sound like Stallone, who's playing Rocky Balboa? Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do you want to talk like that? Do you talk like that? Why can't you sound like Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes? Why can't you sound like somebody who is somebody, and you are somebody? But when you talk, do you come across as being somebody?
I don't know. I don't think maybe. Do you sound like that?
Do you sound like a nerd? Do you sound like a blah? Do you sound like a dinosaur? Someone in the past? A dodo bird? Are voices around us dinosaurs? And if they are, why can't they be better than they are? Not better, better. We always say better. B-E-D-D-A. You feeling better? No. I'm feeling better. But from New Yorkese, we've all been infected with that virus. You feeling better? How many times do you hear that expression, better, B-E-D-D-A? Why do people do that? Why do people have such unfamous voices? In a sense, infamous voices. Let's talk about it. I don't know about you, but I know about me a little. Some time back in time, I didn't have this voice. I had a different voice, a nasal voice. This is Morty Cooper. Testing 1, 2, 3, Morty Cooper. And I tested my voice on a tape machine, and it came across, I thought I'd sounded like James Garner or the great voices of our day, Laurence Olivier and Gielgud. I thought I had a great voice when I was a young kid.
And it came back testing 1, 2, 3. This is Morty Cooper on the tape machine. Now, the secretary told me, Cooper, from Brooklyn College, Cooper, it's a brand new tape machine. And I told her, listening to my voice, that the tape machine is broken.
So she put her voice on the tape machine. And her voice came back as nasal as it was, because she was nasal. And she looked me straight in the eye and she said to me, quote,
You're right, Cooper. The tape machine is broken. It's not my voice. And that's the way she was talking. That's the voice that came back on the tape machine.
So I knew. It's called the moment of truth. And you have that when you hear yourself played back on a tape machine or a message replay.
And you're talking like that. You sound like Dr. Ruth.
Now, Diane Sawyer said Dr. Ruth on 60 Minutes as the most unforgettable voice. It's not only unforgettable, you can't understand what this lady is saying. It's worth a fortune. It's a trademark voice. It's like Joan Rivers. I was privileged to work with Joan to help her to get that voice, and people are always saying, are you crazy? That voice you have, yeah, I was paid very well to get that voice. Why not? We need a trademark voice. I feel that the situation that we have in the country. If you understand what Henry Kissinger says when he's saying it, you win the prize of the year. I always feel I'm losing my hearing when I hear Henry talk. I feel that the situation that we have. He's been in the country for 40 years almost or more, and he still has that German accent. He probably goes to the Berlitz School to keep the accent, but I love to hear Henry. I have the feeling his batteries are wearing down and out. But Mimi Van Doren on the Merv show said no, his batteries are not worn down and out. She knew, she said. She dated him. So the voice doesn't represent us all the time. Does your voice represent you? If you're talking like that, do you feel like that? And you're talking with a funny voice. Why don't you have a voice that really says something about you instead of talking, now, ladies? Have you ever heard Julia Child? It sounds like somebody pinched her rear end. A pin may have popped. Now, ladies. It gives you the jump. It has a jump start voice. Why do you have a voice that when somebody hears you, they say, is your mother in? Is your father in? Respectively. Because you have a kid voice. Why do they say they can't understand what you do? Because you mumble. They ask you to repeat yourself. Why do they do that to you? I don't know about you, Andy Rooney would say. But I do know about voices. And voices are very strange instruments. They seem to play havoc with us. We never take a single lesson, as Andy Rooney would say. He does that number with his... We never do a single... And he goes through it. We never take a single lesson on the voice. But that's true of Andy Rooney. That's true of Dr. Ruth. That's true probably of Mr. Rogers. Is your mother home? You having a... And Woody Allen, he got that nerdy voice. I know you like Woody Allen. I like Woody Allen very much. I like Mr. Rogers. I like Dr. Ruth. I like them all. I like Andy Rooney. But I wouldn't be around those voices too long. Why can't we have voices like Ronald Coleman? Why can't we have voices like Charles Boyer? Oh, this year's I want to know you in my eyes. Why can't we sound like 007? Why can't there be a 007, a Mrs. 007? Why is there only a James Bond 007? Have you heard Brenda Vaccaro? Have you heard voices? She used to have a great voice up there. I've heard her for a while down in the lower throat. It could be a famous voice. There are people here in town that sound like they're gargling on their voice. They seem to like it. Gives them a trademark sound. Maybe you're one of them. Does it make your day to have the voice that you have? Why don't you have a famous voice? Why don't you have a voice that really speaks for you, that says something about you? You wear clothes to represent yourself. You try to make yourself somebody has status and power and give yourself a little air here and there. You have to inflate yourself a little. It helps, you know. We don't want to make fools of ourselves all the time. We don't know too much about what we're doing, but we don't want to say that. We're too proud. You know what I mean. Now, people who have those funny voices, they talk right up here in the nose. Do they have to do that? No. What can you do to change it? Ah, I thought you'd never ask. This is a program dedicated to the mask. The mask. The masking of America. The buzzing of America. You see, 007 talks up here, around the mask, around the lips and nose. The voice is built on a megaphone basis, from the top of your eyebrows down to the bottom of your fifth and sixth cervical vertebrae. Michael Jackson, you see, here in town, when he talks, he always has that charming English accent. And he always sounds so self-possessed, so in charge of things. And he may not be on the mark, but his voice is always there. And it's always charming to hear him as 007. Now, why can't you have